Okay, with our leaves, we have some creative freedom. So we could either have a plant with 12 strings of pearls like this plant here, or we can have a plant of 8 strings of pearls like this plant here. So there is a difference in aesthetics. One is a lot more full and one is a bit more spaced out. So while there is a choice of aesthetics, 8 strings or 12 strings, there's also some choices in length. So for instance, if we're doing the 8-stringed pot, we're going to need 4 short strings and 4 long strings. So short strings would be roughly about 12 centimeters long, and a long string of pearls would be roughly 14-ish centimeters long. So we just need half. If you are doing a 12 string of pearls, then obviously 6 will then have to be short and 6 can be long. It's also up to you if you want to make it extra long, so roughly like 16 centimeters would be an extra long string of pearls. So in order to start, I am using this dark green double knit cotton yarn. Now we're just going to do a simple slip knot on the hook and show you have a relatively long tail. I'm going to say 10 centimeters of a tail because we're going to use these ends as a bunch to tie knots in once we put these ends of our leaves into the soil. Okay, so we start off with a simple slip knot on the hook. And the first thing we want to do is to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we're going to do 4 double crochets into the 3rd chain from the hook. So count 1, 2, 3, the 3rd chain, 4 double crochets into that chain. So we're going to start with yarning over, going into that space, yarning over, and pulling up a loop. Now we have 1, 2, 3 loops on our hook. We want to yarn over and pull through 2. And that's it. Now we repeat the process. So yarn over, go into the same hole, yarn over, pull up a hook, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we have 3 loops on the hook. And we're going to do it again. Yarn over, go into the hole, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we have 4 loops on the hook and we want 5, so we need to do one more. So we're going to yarn over, go into that same old hole, yarn over and pull up a loop. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through 2. Now here I only pulled through 1 and I found out because I had the wrong number of loops on the hook. We want to end off with 5 loops on the hook. Okay, so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook. Now typically I just tug a bit on the stitches to get everything through with one swoop. And that's it. So I'm just going to chain 1 to secure the purl. And now we're going to make the circle shape. So we're going to slip stitch into the purl hole. So put your hook into the purl hole and push through into the chain next to the purl hole. Now we're just going to yarn over and pull through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. And this creates our little ball for the purl. So next we are going to chain 4. Chaining 4 means that the pearls will be super tight next to each other, on top of each other, so a set of pearls. Now we're going to repeat the same process of making a pearl. So 4 double crochets into the 3rd chain from the hook. Only when you have 5 loops on the hook should you yarn over and pull through all 5 so that we can continue to create that pearl. So all along your chains, you're just creating all these little pearls along the chains. So let's talk about making a big gap. So now we have this tight set of 2 pearls on top of each other. Now in order to make a bigger gap, we're just going to chain 8. So chaining 8 is creating quite a big space between the pearls, whereas the chain 4 creates a set of pearls. I do want to get into the creativity that you need to express during this leaf pearl process. So I don't have a method of chain 4, chain 8, chain 4, chain 8, nothing like that. I know that if I chain 4, I'll have a tight set of pearls, and if I chain 8, I'll have a big gap. And I kind of like to switch off when I do my leaves. So just keep in mind that a set of 2 pearls plus a gap plus a set of 2 pearls plus a gap looks quite decent. However, if you look at all of these chains that I've done here, all these strings of pearls, every single one is different. So that's why I want to encourage you as an individual to just mix it up, to chain 4, chain 8, chain 6, but know that if you chain 4, you're making a set of pearls. If you're chaining 8 in between, you're making a longer gap, and so on and so forth. So the creativity is honestly up to you. And the last thing that we need to do when we are finished with our string of pearls is just chain 1 to secure that last pearl, and then we are going to cut off the end. Try and ensure you cut off a long tail. My tail here was a bit too short because you need to weave in the tail. So instead of trying to struggle with the short tail that I made here, I just turned my string of pearls over and I used the other side to weave in. So just weave in the end right into the actual pearl. So you can go 2 or 3 times and it should be quite secure. And then all we're going to do is just snip off the end. And you should have either a set of 8 pearls or a set of 12 stringed pearls.